What's up, guys? Chris here from Signs of Life. Back again with another video. This time we're going to talk about my thoughts on the ASM Hydrasynth. In front of me is the desktop version of the ASM Hydrasynth, which I purchased about 3 months ago. So after giving it about 1,000 miles and looking under the hood and finding out what it's capable of, I feel like it's my turn to give my thoughts on it. Now, this is not a review of the Hydrasynth. This is going to be just a sort of walkthrough video. We're going to talk about the things that Hydrasynth can do, the things that Hydrasynth are not so good at, who it's for, who it might not be for, and how it relates to my productions in ambient music, because that's what we do here on this channel. So Hydrasynth is a 3-oscillator, multi-envelope, multi-LFO workstation in a box, as my partner Don Tyler describes it. Now, this is not to say you can like sequence a whole track in here. I mean, you could, but I often think of Hydrasynth as deep as the well can go. And I think of Hydra like Chase Bliss pedals. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the company Chase Bliss, but Joel from Chase Bliss, the founder, once said about his own pedals is that we make these pedals not knowing what they're truly capable of. It's like, here it is, see what you can do with it. And that's how I feel about Hydra. I feel like Hydra is such a beautiful sound creation tool that you really have to dive way beyond the surface to find out what it's truly capable of and what it can do for you. So, like I said, I've owned it now for 3 months, and it was brought to my attention by Cameron at Venus Theory. I watched him play the synth for about 5 minutes, and this was before his demo review came out, which is, in my opinion, the best review on Hydrasynth available on the internet. And I just said, that's it. That's my next piece of hardware. So I saved up all my space bucks and I purchased the desktop version. The difference between the desktop version and the keybed version is the keybed version has this cool fancy ribbon across the middle of it, and it has a mod wheel, obviously. But this one has these cool pads, which are nice. I mean, they are, you can set them, right now I have them set to octave row, which is my favorite. But you can set them to all kinds of different scales and things and pound on them. You know, on the website, they have the guy like pounding like this. I mean, that's, you know, questionable if you're gonna do that. I think it's all marketing, but anyway, we're listening to one of the patches that was created or added in the 1.5 update. So they are constantly updating this thing. And there's a lot of special things that I love about Hydra. So that's what we're going to talk about today. My thoughts on Hydrasynth from an ambient music producer's perspective. As always, before we start the video, smash that like button on the way in. And if you guys feel called to subscribe to the channel, that's awesome. So without further ado, let's get started. All right, so the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come over to envelope 2, and I'm going to make this an infinite free looping envelope. So I'm gonna turn the free run on, the envelope loop on, I'm gonna turn the BPM sync on, the hold all the way to max, and then I'm just gonna press one key. Now it's just going forever, okay? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come to the mixer and then turn all the way down. Now we have, the amp is completely infinitely running, okay? So what we're gonna do here now is we're gonna take the 3 envelopes that are free, and we're gonna assign all of those envelopes to the levels of the mixer. So think of this like we're kind of like ever evolving these envelopes to this mixer thing. So now that the mixer is all set at 0, everything is set at 0, I'm gonna come into the mod matrix, I'm gonna assign envelope 3 to the mixer volume level, okay? And then I'm gonna do the same thing over here. Envelope 4, mixer, and I'm gonna assign the oscillator 2 volume. And then I'm gonna come over to here and assign oscillator envelope 5 to the mixer to oscillator 3's volume. Cool. So now what we have is we have 3 envelopes that are all now tying themselves to the mixer, okay? So back in, back home, we now have this envelope, as I said, that's free running, but instead, what we're gonna do is we're gonna have the free run on, the envelope loop on, and then the sustain all the way down. We're gonna kind of adjust these decays right here to kind of give ourselves, I don't know, some structure to this patch that we're creating, okay? So now what is gonna happen is I'm gonna make sure all these are in free run and envelope loop is totally on. For this one, okay, now everything's on, and now what I can do is I can kind of change this by going like this. And now it's completely free running. Now, what we're gonna do here is you can adjust the decay the level on all of these, and that's what we're gonna do in the mod matrix through the use of the LFOs. So, like I said, all of these are now set up, okay? And what we're gonna do in the second part of the mod matrix is we're gonna take LFO3, we're gonna assign LFO3 to envelope 3's decay, okay? You're gonna hear the effect of that right away. So then we're gonna go LFO4, and we're gonna go that to envelope 4's decay. And then we're gonna assign LFO5 to envelope 5's decay. Okay? Now we have all of these LFOs running in sine waves, so what we're gonna come over here is we're gonna start randomizing these really slowly, okay? This is gonna be a sample and hold. This is gonna be a sample and hold. This one's gonna be a sample and hold. Okay, and then we're gonna come back up to the envelopes and bring these out. There we go. All right. So now in the mod matrix, again, we have all 3 decays being modulated and all 3 oscillator volumes being modulated. That's a great start to our patch, okay? So now what I can do, I mean, this is basic level 1 here, right? So now we can do, we obviously have control of the filter. But what's cool about Hydrasynth filters is you can run them in series or parallel, okay? So just like in Vital, you can kind of say, all right, well, filter 1 is gonna be a low pass, and then filter 2 can be a high pass. We can do that here through the mixer. So we're gonna go down here, and we're gonna change the filter routing to parallel, okay? And then come up one page, and now we have complete, I love this implementation. We have complete control over which filter. Left is filter 1, right is filter 2, okay? So we're gonna say oscillator 1 is controlled by filter 1. So we're gonna come over to here to filter 1 and we're gonna adjust that. Okay, but in the mixer, we're gonna move these two, oscillator 2 and 3, to the second filter, which is a variable state filter. It's different from filter 1. In the manual, they say it's a nice compliment, and I agree with them. It's a nice compliment to filter number 1. Anyway, so now what we can do is we can adjust this, okay? But the other two oscillators aren't affected. And then we come over to here, filter 2, and we can say morph, and this can be a high pass. You see that? Now filter number 1 is over here. All right, but oscillators 2 and 3 are being affected by this high pass filter, which we've created over here. Now think about how creative you can get with this. You can start changing the position of the filter, and we haven't even touched the oscillators yet, or the effects, all right? So let's come over to the mod matrix, and we'll say, all right, let's assign LFO5 to filter 2's, I don't know, cutoff. That's interesting to me, okay? Oh, wow, okay? Imagine how this is gonna sound with some delay. All right, and then what we're gonna do here is let's also assign LFO5 to oscillator 1, and we're gonna assign it to the wave scan of oscillator 1. Now we're gonna come over here and we're gonna start diving deeper into Hydra. Oscillator 1 can be set as single mode, so you can just choose your oscillator here, or we can set it to wave scan and start editing this list of waveforms. I mentioned this in the Serum video that I did about different frames. Now, the Hydrasynth has 8 different frames of these waveforms that you can choose and then morph in between them. So what you can do is hold shift and just start selecting a good starting point. Let's choose Horizon. We'll choose this one and we'll choose shift from there, and then choose shift from here, and we'll keep going and shift from here and shift from here. And now we're rolling. Now we're gonna morph in between all these waves. It's gonna sound pretty cool. And we even go backwards in time to something a little more simple. Okay. Now when we come back to the oscillator, now we can wave scan in between them. Dope, right? So now in the mod matrix, as we assign LFO5 is now controlling the wave scan of that. Oh, that's awesome. Perfect. Now we can also assign, let's say, LFO5. LFO5 is our master envelope, or LFO here. And we're gonna assign that to, in the mixer, we're gonna say oscillators 1's pan. All right, ooh, that's interesting. That even gives us some stereo effect without even using the delay yet, all right? Now we got something going on. So this is what Hydra is all about, all right? So unlike approaching it like, oh, well, maybe I'm just gonna make a pad today, or maybe I'm just gonna make some sort of Serum-like, Vital-like, straight up, just using the 3 oscillators like how you would expect to use 3 oscillators. With the envelopes and the LFOs, you can make something really abstract really quickly, okay? And that's what we've just done. So let's dive in here to the delay, and we'll turn on some pan delay, and we will turn up the dry wet, turn up the feedback, start getting some reflections here. Oh, that's nice. And we'll come back over to the mod matrix, and we'll come up to page 1. We'll start turning up these oscillators, and maybe we'll just oh, that's cool. The pitch of oscillator 3. I like this. Oh yeah. Let's add some Valhalla room reverb on top of this. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Now let's also play with the filter, because like I said, it's a variable state filter, so you can morph it like this. Oh, that's cool. Oof. Can you imagine another note in there? I think that's oscillator 3 or... There we go. That's the note I hear in my head. There it is. Yes! Nice. Nice, nice, nice. All right, so we have all 3 of those. We have, what, 9 slots now are filled up in our mod matrix. And we're rolling. Okay, let's continue on our path. So let's go. LFO4 is going to assign mixer, let's see, oscillator 2's pan. And we will assign LFO3. Actually, no, we'll do LFO4 again, and we'll do the mixer, and we'll do oscillator 3's pan. Now we're really getting some width here. Oh, this is gorgeous. I'm into this. So you see, now we can assign, let's say, macro 1. We can go to macro assign. The macro assign, you can assign, let's say, we just do like a mutant, ratio, like that. And mutant 1 we haven't even applied yet, but we can come back here and say, all right, we did that. And mutant 1 can be set as oscillator sync. Ooh, yes. There we go. Now we have control over that. Oh yeah. Okay, so the macros are like quick ways, and you can assign, like macro 1 can be assigned to like 8 different things, or even more than, I think it's even more than that. It's really crazy how deep it can go. But let's go back into the mod matrix and let's assign, say, LFO2, which we haven't touched yet, to do just that. We'll assign it to one of the mutants operations. Other than ratio, let's go back up here. That's a crazy, crazy thing we got going on. Depth, we'll assign it to depth. Oh yeah. Ooh, more of that, please. Okay, so now let's go back over here and wow. That's what I'm talking. And then we'll go to LFO2 and we'll change LFO2 to say sample and hold, make it really slow. There we go. So you see, we got something really interesting here. At least this is interesting to me. And this is Hydrasynth, right? So from an ambient music maker's perspective, like, how good is this right now? I'm gonna turn it up, listen. I love it. I mean, I'm really happy with where we are at this very moment, because this could be a wonderful, wonderful start to something. And we haven't even messed with oscillator 2 yet. Make this a pulse wave. Oscillator 3 can be a sine. Oh, that's beautiful. Wave scanning through oscillator 1. So you see, Hydrasynth, in just a matter of moments, we've all of a sudden started something that is beyond cosmic, right? You have the ability to start with basic oscillators and mutate those in so many different ways. You have the ability to free run your envelopes. You can use the LFOs to control the push and pull, so to say, of those envelopes. The filters, easily controllable, easily accessible. Arpeggiator, we didn't even touch that so far. So, what would you want to do with Hydrasynth outside of this? You could just make simple arpeggios, you can make bass lines, you can make basses. We didn't even get into any of the deeper functions of Hydrasynth. But what we did touch upon was just maybe beyond the initial surface level of what Hydra is capable of. Now, who is this synth for? Some people who maybe just who love to touch things. I mean, if you love to touch and program things for hours, Hydrasynth is waiting for you. If you want fast, quick results, if you want to just like blaze through something and get a track written in 30 minutes, Hydra might not be for you. Because Hydra takes time to dive into each little menu and then pull out some of those sounds that make it really unique, and also like it just takes it to a whole nother level when you try to think about, because it forces you to be creative in your sound design. And that's one of the things that I absolutely love about Hydra, is that it pulls you into its world, right? How far do you want to go? Where do you want to take this? And then with that perspective, you approach Hydra like we just did today. And like I said, that was just a surface level idea that we had, but I love the way this sounds. Totally into it. So for the price that I paid for it, I'm totally happy. For the features that it has, it's awesome. For ambient music in particular, hell yes. However, I will say, if you're someone like, because I'm a heavy Vital user, I'm a heavy Serum user, I'm a heavy Omnisphere user. What would I need with this outside of what I can already do? This kind of thing, yes, you can do in Serum and Vital, but Hydra just has a couple extra notches in its tool belt. Do you know what I mean? Like it's got a couple extra things to say, hey, what about doing this? Or what about doing this? And it forces you. I mean, it gave me a whole nother perspective on Vital after using Hydra. That was invaluable to me. Like I was like, oh, you wanna force me to think differently? Okay, I can do that. And you can absolutely get there with Hydra if you give it the time. So it's a wonderful, wonderful synthesizer with lots of potential. And who knows where they could take it? I mean, we have poly aftertouch on here. We got, I mean, what do they have? The latest and the greatest MIDI. I mean, it's crazy. They've thought of everything. So at the time, I think this is gonna be considered a classic synthesizer. And that's just my personal opinion, is that this is gonna be like one of those cult classics, like Hydrasynth. It's got a cool freaking name too. But like, what does that even mean? I don't really know, because I didn't create it, but Hydra to me is like the Hydra, like the tentacles of the Hydra, the deep underwater flowing, ever evolving, ever morphing, ever changing Hydra. That's what Hydrasynth means to me. So it's a beast. Anyway, that's my thoughts on the Hydrasynth. What do you guys think about Hydrasynth? I want to know. Do you own Hydrasynth? Do you want to own Hydrasynth? Do you have any tips or tricks on Hydrasynth? Because listen, the first couple months that I had it, I just absorbed as much Hydrasynth content as I could at all hours of the day. Any chance I got, more videos. I just would dive in, and I just wanted to know everything that the synth was capable of. So, what are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments down below. We're gonna kind of rock this video out with some more ambience. But as always, thank you guys so much for watching. I truly appreciate it. And I look forward to giving this more spins in the future. This is just one chapter of many, because in my opinion, this Hydrasynth isn't going anywhere. Not in my kit. We're just beginning our journey with the almighty Hydra. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, keep your heads in the clouds and your feet planted firmly on the ground. My name is Chris from Signs of Life, and I will see you all on the other side. Peace.